Dr. Mgcini Tshwaku has conducted an official inspection at a property located in Houghton where 90 undocumented foreign nationals were recently discovered to be occupying the premises. And for more on this, he now joins us via our video link. Mgcini, thank you so much for your time this evening here in SABC News. Now, you've conducted this operation following a tip-off in which you received and discovered that there were 90 undocumented foreign nationals living in a home in Houghton. Tell us more about this.
Good evening, Pichumbali, and your viewers at home. Yes, we got a tip-off that there's some activity that has been happening around the area. A lot of people moving in and out. And then when we did our oversight in inspection, we found that there's got 90 undocumented foreign nationals. Our problem is that in that such a number of people staying in that area, it's actually breaking a lot of the bylaws. But this is an effort more into bylaw in enforcement. So when we entered the house, they've converted some of the, some of your showers into place of sleep. The shower, you can see the shower there. Many of the places, the dining room have been partitioned. Some of the room have been partitioned without the approval of the council. So there's an illegal connection of electricity, illegal connection of water. So there's quite a number of things, like a lot of breaking of the bylaws there. So this is more one of the city's efforts to ensure that we enforce these bylaws.
All right, and we also know that, these are 90 undocumented foreign nationals. Do we know which country they hail from? And as we speak, when can we expect them to appear in court?
They are coming from Malawi, and we've referred the matter to the Home Affairs. So the Home Affairs is attending into that. We've alerted them, and also the SABC, so that they must be processed to check what is happening, and if they've got. When we ask some of them, they are sort of the passport and the asylums. They look relatively new. So the only people who can verify that is the Home Affairs. So we left that matter to the Home Affairs. But of course, we are doing a follow-up on Monday again. We are bringing now all the EMS, we're bringing the building control, the town planning and all of that, because it looks as if the property was run as sort of a guest house, sort of. So we need to check if it was zoned to be that as well.
Yeah.
So that was actually mostly that. My concern was that you can't have a number of people staying that. This is what we've been seeing, remember, at the Mayfair as well. So it seems to be sort of a individuals, syndicate or enablers that are enabling this, because we waited for the owner. He said it's coming, and he never came. So on Monday, if it doesn't come again, it means that we're going to mothball the whole house up until he comes to us, so that we can we can release the house, because it doesn't conform with any bylaws at all. So you can expect any disaster happening there. A number of people staying there, it's prone to really fire, and you can see that the illegal connection of electricity as well. So it is a fire hazard.
Mgcini, when it comes to the homeowner, which you've been trying to locate, do we know who owns this house? Were these tenants paying money to the owner, and how much were they paying in terms of their rent?
Yeah, the caretaker is Brown. So Brown was collecting about 1,200 from these individuals. So it's probably making anywhere between 90,000 and 120,000. And when we look in terms of the CPIC, we found that it's owned by a company with the directors there. So we managed to get hold of the directors of the company, but he didn't come. So this is actually how buildings and the houses are hijacked. What they do is that they wait for the owner to pass on, or the owner will relocate, let's say overseas. It will leave sort of a management company. So the management company, due to maybe rent problems or hijackings and problems internally, and then the owner will lose that house, and the house will automatically be transferred to a company by the fraudulent attorneys. So when it goes into a company, then it's easy to really hijack. If I want maybe to own that house, I just go to CPIC or go to the deeds office and change the directors of those company and then go in there. So that is what I see there, is that this is a hijacked house because it's under a sort of a company.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen a number of these hijacked homes, hijacked buildings. I mean, we've also seen this trend of a number of foreign nationals, being identified all in one home. I mean, we saw this in Sandringham. There was also another issue in Parkmore as well. What are you doing as the city of Johannesburg, to try and arrest this issue? Is this also an isolated operation, or will you be continuing to conduct inspections of this nature in the city of Joburg?
No, don't worry about it. We're going to do these operations, and I've got like a tip of about 5 houses. It's working with the community. They actually tell us. I mean, you've got houses hijacked at like Windsor and all of that. One thing, but I can tell you, it's something probably we need to look at, all of us as well, and maybe as the lawmakers, is to saying that when people are hijacking your house, get in there, stay in your house. By law, you need to give them an alternative accommodation. At this point in time, as you know that through the government, human settlement, they don't have any transitional accommodation or maybe any housing. If you want me, I can remove the people and put them somewhere else. But the law, according to the law, Mbani, it says that you can't take people out. You need to pay, you need to put them in, you need to give them alternative accommodation. And then we might have to look into that, because it is an issue. Look, as a city right now, we've cleaned two buildings now already that have been occupied. It's easy to really do that, and I think that any administration that will come through, because now this is the sins of the past administration. We need, as a country, as a city, as a province, to manage the housing portfolio properly, or what you call the building, because some of the buildings, you can see them in downtown Joburg, they're actually vacant. So if you leave a building vacant, there are people coming from also in the Eastern Cape, coming from KZN, looking for greener pastures. And when they come here, they say, here's a building, it's open, there's no security, and then people will start to really, to hijack that. So what happens is that, if, let's say myself, Mgcini, I've occupied a room and I managed to better my life, I got a better life and a better... What I would do is that I'm going to look for someone else, a tenant. And some of the tenants who are coming to the country is the foreign nationals. And it's easy for them because I can put them in a house, 10 of them, they're not going to complain. And 10 of them, 800 rands each. I've got like what, 800, I mean, times 10 is quite, 8,000, that you can have that. So this is what is actually happening. They look at enablers that are happening there. But we are into that. It's easy to get into, to really clean up these buildings. The problem is an alternative accommodation. If the housing and also national can just we can have sort of an alternative accommodation with this individual, we can clean it up.
Yeah, and maybe Mgcini, if before I let you go, when it comes to the issue around hijacked buildings in the city of Johannesburg, is the municipality aware how many buildings it owns which have been hijacked? Yeah.
We got it must still remember quite well. See, now you're really ambushing me. I've been doing this all the time. So we've got about 30 buildings. 30 to 35 buildings, right? And then we've got private buildings, which are about 600. In total, you've got the 635 roughly buildings which have been hijacked. And of those, city has got about 35, 34, I think, but about 30, 34 buildings. But I can get those numbers because we've written a report. What we're really doing now is to get the alternative accommodation. The next building we're going to clean is the notorious Venin Court and the Casamia. Those are the big ones. Those are the ones that we're actually going to do. But we exactly know how many are they. And in the KPIs, which is under the EMS, I've managed to really change it now in terms of saying that we need to focus on the inner city. The KPI was at about, we need to do inspection houses and, warehouse, and it was about per year, about 4,000. We've bumped it up now to about 10,000 now. So EMS must go there and inspect these buildings. We've actually also taken some other guys now to, to be fire inspectors, so that we're able to look at this building. But look, Mbali, I can tell you right now, give me an alternative accommodation.
Yeah.
The bad buildings would be the thing of the past. That's all.
All right, Mgcini, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
That's
you.
Dr. Mgcini Tshwaku. He is the MMC for Public Safety in the city of Johannesburg. They're talking to us and telling us that the city has identified at least more than 30 buildings it owns which have been hijacked. At the same time, while it deals with hijacked homes and hijacked buildings, it is calling on for alternative accommodation to accommodate those living in these premises.